السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وأرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه وادخلنا برحمتك في عبادك الصالحين آمين يا رب العالمين. Welcome everybody to another Fiqh of Financial Transactions dars lesson. Alhamdulillah, we're getting close to the end of Fiqh al-Buyu'. So inshallah, just hang in there. And of course, we're going to have a test on this. It's going to be a big test. The goal, inshallah, is to finish before Ramadan. So I'm going to try to cover like a couple of topics in the next. We have 2 more Saturdays before Ramadan, inshallah. So the goal is to finish. So people in Ramadan can actually, those who are serious about it, can actually go through, all the content, inshallah, and maybe we can have a test in the first week after Ramadan, bidnillah ta'ala, right after Eid, we can have a test, inshallah. طيب, the goal today, inshallah, is to cover 3 topics: الشفعة, والوديعة, وأحياء الموات. أحياء الموات. تمام? Bismillah. They're short, يعني. We'll do our best, inshallah, but we're going to finish right at Isha because I have to be somewhere else after this. طيب, Bismillah. And now Isha is getting closer, right? The Iqam with the Adhan, the time is getting late now. طيب, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So, نبدأ inshallah بالشفعة. Remember we mentioned شفعة last week. We just kind of mentioned. Anybody remember what شفعة is? Not شفاعة. شفعة. طبعا linguistically, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, والفجر والليالي العشر والشفع والوتر. ايش الشفع؟ What's witr? Odds, right? والشفع, it's evens, right? So لغة يقول وهو الزوج, يعني the even, right? وشرعا الشفعة يقول استحقاق الشريك انتزاع شخص شريكه ممن انتقل إليه بعوض مالي إن كان مثله أو دونه. What does that mean? We said basically when you have 2 or more people who are co-partners or co-owners in a land, mainly it's about land, real estate. They own a land. It's not separated land. It's co-owned. Tamam? And so if one of them goes ahead and sells his portion to somebody else, then the partner has a right to go and demand buying it back from him. Tamam? هذه هي الشفعة. He has the right to go back and buy it from the new partner. Okay? Because this is his حق. فالأصل في الباب, طبعا we have 2 hadiths. حديث أبو رافع الجار أحق بسقبه, okay? Which means basically that the neighbor has more right, okay, or more, he's more entitled. The jar, who's the jar? The neighbor, right? The neighbor is more entitled with the one who's adjacent to him. طبعا this is going to talk about like neighbors. And then the other hadith, which is kind of the more, the hadith that kind of the other madhahib lean to more, and the Hanabila is hadith Jabir رضي الله عنه قضى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بالشفعة في كل ما لم يقسم. The Prophet ﷺ did shuf'ah with anything that is not separatable. This is the condition, because if it's separatable, then there's no need for shuf'ah. It's 2 separate lands, okay? 2 separate lands. فإذا وقعت الحدود وصرفت الطرق فلا شفعة. He's saying once it's separated, there's no shuf'ah. Shuf'ah is for something that is co-owned, right? You don't have a specific piece. So مثلا you have a garden, okay, or a piece of land, and it's co-owned by, it's not like you own the right side and he owns the left side. It's musha', okay, it's co-owned. Tamam. طبعا, just for your information, all the madhahib said that it's only for pretty much like land, except the Ahnaf, they said that this is also the right of a neighbor. What does that mean? That means like if you own a house and your neighbor next to you, he goes and sells the house to some other person, you have the right to actually go and do shuf'ah. The Hanabila say no, that's not the first hadith I mentioned, al-jaru haqqu bi saqbihi. what they mean is someone who يعني a neighbor who's a co-owner. That's what they mean. That's what they meant by that one. Not like any neighbor. Wallahu a'lam, that's from the mufradat of the Ahnaf. But in the madhab here, it's not for the neighbor's right to actually go and get a shuf'a. So let's read inshallah. So فصل في الشفعة يقول وتثبت الشفعة فورا لمسلم. طبعا so الشفعة is valid فورا means what? على الفور, right? You guys did amr or in usul? You haven't done, okay. Because in usul they talk about when something is wajib, it's wajib على الفور, يعني you have to do it right away. تمام? And this is a big distinguish. It will be applicable for a lot of different ahkam. So fawra means right away. على الفور يعني right away. So if someone, if the partner goes to the one who's been sold to and says, I want my right to buy this land, okay, then it happens on the spot. It happens on the spot. فورا لمسلم has to be a Muslim. If it's a non-Muslim, then it will not be valid. تام الملكي, it has to be fully owned. It can't be like half owned, right? Because you cannot then, the person can't really take half of it. It has to be fully owned. في حصة شريكه, in the portion of his partner. المنتقلة لغيره. Okay, so obviously شريكه takes out neighbor. So the Hanabila, they say it's not neighbor. Okay, المنتقلة لغيره. Obviously here it means that it's being sold to somebody else. بعوض مالي, it has to be sold through something financial, like for a financial price. Okay, بما استقر عليه العقد. Okay, بما استقر عليه العقد يعني for the same amount. What's the maslaha here? The maslaha is this. Look, the benefit here is that, like, I am partners with Adib. Okay, we own this land, we co-own this land. Okay, Adib now is like, you know what? I'm gonna go sell it to my brother. I'm gonna go sell it to my brother. What does Adib want right now? I'm gonna sell it for 50,000. My portion, his portion. What does he want, Adib? He's in need of cash. So whether he gets the cash from his brother or from me, is it a big deal for him? No. The relationship with his brother, whatever, it's not important right now. Okay, so I have the right to go to his brother. Okay, or I have the right technically to go to him and be like, listen, I'm gonna buy it. This is my right. Okay, this is my haqq. Okay, because the Prophet ﷺ gave me that haqq. Okay, and I want to buy it off for the same price. You can't be like, okay, but since I'm your friend, give me 50% off. He has a right to take the full price. Now, if he wants to give you like a cut, I guess no problem in that. Inshallah, anta radin, there's no problem. Tamam? So that's what it says. So بما استقر عليه العقد, for the price that was agreed upon. So we said, so in English you could say preemption, right? You have the right of preemption to get that contract. It's called shuf'a in Arabic. So a shuf'a is the right of a partner to reclaim his partner's portion from the purchaser. So we said here the purchaser would be Adib's brother. Adib was my partner and he wants to sell to his brother. Okay, so if he sold it to him, I have the right to come take it back or to get it from him. Tamam? By paying compensation, whether equal to or less than what was paid. It can be equal as long as he's okay with it, as long as he's okay to go down for a lower price. But why is this important? Because if Adib says, I want 50,000, and if you're not willing to go to that price, then you lose your right of shuf'a. Do you understand? Why is that important? So if he says, I'm going to sell it to my brother for 50,000, you want to take it now back, you got to pay 50,000. Okay? I need the 50,000, I have some debt, whatever, okay, whatever the reason is, doesn't matter. And so if I say, no, I don't want, then I lose the right. Tamam? But if he says, you know what, whatever, we've been partners, you're a good guy, khalas, mashiha. Okay? طيب. So example, Ahmed and Zaid jointly own a business, each holding 50%. Zaid sells his share to Khalid. So you have Ahmed and Zaid. Zaid, the partner, sells his share to Khalid, a third person. After the sale is completed, Ahmed has the right of shuf'a. Okay, Ahmed can come back, and which allows him to take Zaid's sold share from Khalid by paying the same price Khalid paid. Okay, as a result, Khalid is removed from the partnership, and Ahmed becomes the owner of Zaid's share, so he gets the whole share. But here I mentioned business, I mean like property. mainly what they talk about is يعني real estate. Like conditions for shuf'a. So obviously there's some conditions here. Let's read what he says. So he says here, is there something I forgot? Yeah. Right. Let's read. He says وشرط, the conditions وشرط تقدم ملك شفيع تقدم ملك شفيع okay وكون شخص مشاعا من أرض تجب قسمتها وشرط تقدم ملك شفيع. So it's what they mean here تقدم ملك شفيع. الشفيع is the one who's asking to buy it back, right? The partner, the original partner. تمام. It's a condition that you have to be a partner before it happens. You might say, what do you mean? How's that possible? Can you think of an example? Because what happens sometimes is like, let's say you have like 4 partners or 4 co-owners of something, right? And it's like one of them sells a share and nobody takes the shuf'a, right? And now the other wants to sell a share, another wants to sell a share, but the new one was not a partner before, so he doesn't have a right for a shuf'a. Does that make sense? Like the new one who became one of the partners, okay, he wasn't there before, so he doesn't have the right for the shuf'a. This is like maybe an example. Does that make sense? Yeah, for a second person who wants to make the share. So you had 4 co-owners, okay? One of them sells it, so he brings another partner in now, right? So he sells his share, so now there's a new partner. This new partner now, if one of these wants to sell, he doesn't have a right for shuf'a. He was not there. Like he was not a co-owner before. Does that make sense? So he doesn't have a right for that shuf'a. These other 2 will have a right for that shuf'a. Does that make sense? That's what he's talking about here. وشرط تقدم ملك شفيع وكون شخص مشاعا. It has a shiqs is a share, okay? ومشاع, it's like something that is co-owned and spread, not specifically. Like I said, if there's a border and it's like this is mine and this is yours, there's no need for shuf'a here. It's already separated, okay? A shuf'a is when it's something that is mixed. مثلا, we own all of it, okay? We don't know which one is yours. Yeah, it's not specific. You have the north, I have the south, okay? So it has to be something مشاع, okay? من أرض تجب قسمتها. So that's what it's mentioning here. So that's the first ones. ويدخل غراس. Okay, so here he's talking about ماذا يتبع, what follows it. So if I'm selling a land, remember we talked about this? If I'm selling a land now, what goes with it? He says anything that's planted, trees. Okay, so if I sell a share, there's trees, it goes with it. It's part of the land. ويدخل غراس وبناء تبعا. Any building that is part of that land that's being sold to the share, it goes with it. لا ثمرة وزرع. Do you remember any thamara, any fruits or any crops that are coming out of it? It doesn't go with the ownership, right? That's something that you would have to sell separately, or the seller, that's his. Okay, so he gets to take off all the fruits, okay, and then the guy gets the tree and everything else. تمام. وأخذ جميع مبيع. Okay, yeah, and anything there that is sold with it. Okay. Then he says, فإن أراد أخذ البعض. Okay, let's read. So it says here, the right to preemption is established given the following conditions. So here's the conditions. It should be done immediately and not delayed. We said fawran, right? The partners must be Muslims. Okay, a non-Muslim partner does not have a right to preemption. So they have to be Muslim. So a non-Muslim doesn't have the right of shuf'a. Number 3, they say the selling partner must have complete ownership of his share. The selling partner must have complete ownership of his share. Tamam. Example, it cannot be a waqf. This is the example they mentioned. Maybe there's another kind of idea, but it can't be something that's waqf, because waqf is not something that's owned by you, okay? Fully owned by you. So because there is no specific owner for it, rather its purpose is to just bring some sort of benefit. Number 4, the shares ownership must be transferred through exchange of wealth at the price agreed on in the contract. That's what we mentioned earlier. بما استقر عليه العقد. Now, the shares owner must be transferred through exchange of wealth at the price agreed on in the contract. Therefore, it cannot be given for free like a gift. Yeah, so مثلا, what's he talking about here? So, if Adib, my partner, gave it as a gift to his brother, do I have a right of shuf'a here? Can I be like, no, I have more right to get a gift instead of your brother? لا. Yeah, so here, no, you don't have the right to do that, right? And they give other examples, like the Hanabila are a bit strict on this. So if مثلا Adib gave it as he just got married, mashallah, and he gave the 50% of the land as a sadaq, as a mahar, okay? Can I go to his wife and be like, or can I go get it from his wife and be like, I have the right of that sadaq? They say no. The Hanabila say no. It's just يعني for a regular kind of sale. تمام. طيب, and then they say, and they says the partners requesting preemption should already be partnered before the selling partner decides to sell his portion. This is the example of the four I mentioned. I have an example here, I think, of three. Ahmad, Zayd, and Muhammad. So you have Ahmad, Zayd, and Muhammad. They own a piece of land. So Ahmad, Zayd, and Muhammad. طيب, Zayd, the middle guy, okay, he sells his portion to Ibrahim. So Zayd sells his portion to Ibrahim. Now we have a new partner, Ibrahim, okay? And Muhammad sells his portion to Bilal. So Zayd to Ibrahim and Muhammad to Bilal. So we have Ibrahim and Bilal are new, okay? In this case, Bilal can't request Zayd to sell his portion to him as well. He can't, okay? Because he wasn't there. He wasn't like a partner before in the earlier sale. So he doesn't have a right to do that. And then the next one, number 6, if it is co-ownership in a widespread land, then it can only be done provided, so it has to be a widespread land, like we said, musha'an, okay? Given that there are no boundaries on the land distinguishing who owns what. Remember, because then it's already separated. Then there's no shuf'a required there. It's already separated, okay? Because the problem here is, why should he get a shuf'a? It's because it's co-owned, right? So there's sort of like, there might be some kind of dhulm on the partner. You know what I mean? But if it's fully separated, like you have the north side, I have the south side, there's no real harm technically. Okay? But if it's something that is mixed, then there could be some harm. There could be some harm for the some dhulm for the partner that didn't sell. So it can be only provided that there are no boundaries on the land distinguishing who owns what. If there were, then they would be considered neighbors, not co-owners of the whole land. This is how the Hanabila see it. If it's separated, then they're just neighbors that have separate ownership. It should be distributable, meaning it should not be so small that it cannot be divided. So this is something that the Hanabila are picky about. It has to be something that is distributable, yani something that it can be separated, not something so small that you can't separate. Can you think of an example? Something so small like a land that cannot be separated? Yeah, like sometimes I've seen in some countries back home, like somebody gives like a little piece of land, مثلا. For that to be co-owned, it's almost impossible to be co-owned. Maybe that's what they're talking about. But the other madhab, they didn't really make it a condition, and that it depending on something small, but they're saying it should be something that is separatable, because if you're going to sell the share, let's say, I don't know, what's something that you can't really split? Let's say, مثلا, we have like a land, like a piece of land that in the right in the middle is a well, like a bi'r, right? But if someone sells half of the ownership, okay, how can you split that well? Like you can't really split it. Because the issue with the splitting, like the selling, is that now you have to split it, kind of, right? If you're selling, you have to split it. How do you split it? Like what Uthman did with the Yahudi, one day for you, one day for, see, that's what the other madhab will say, right? That was their point. This is their ijtihad. And then he says, any plants and buildings on the land will be included in the preemption contract. Yeah, so we said any plants, buildings, trees, okay, but not its grown fruits or vegetables. Yeah, whatever already grew, okay, now that it's already grew, then that belongs to the seller. Belongs to the seller. If he wants to add, like, okay, you can take the fruits for an extra whatever, then no problem. The selling partner has an option to sell the fruits or vegetables at an extra cost with his portion of the land to the partner seeking shuf'a, preemption. Number 7, the partner requesting preemption must take the whole of the sold share and not just part of it. Did we mention this one? Yeah. وَأَخْذُ جَمِيعِ مَبِيعٍ. Yeah, so it has to be all of it. He can't, like, if Adib now is going to sell to his brother 50,000, the portion, okay, I can't be like, no, I have the haqq, I have the right. But I just want half of the 50,000, the land. But this is going to harm Adib, right? How? Because Adib wants the 50,000, right? They might come to some kind of agreement, Adib will be like, okay, I need the 50,000, you want a piece of that land, how about I give you half of that land for 50,000, right? And I agree, then maybe, yeah, that'd be fine, that'll be a sale. But if he wants to sell the 50% and I only want 20%, then I lose my shuf'a. Does that make sense? So I need to be willing to take the exact portion that he's willing to sell. Otherwise, that's what he means by وَأَخْذُ جَمِيعِ مَبِيعٍ. So the partner requesting preemption, shuf'a, must take the whole of the sold share and not just part of it, right? Example, Ahmed and Zayd own a business or land together with 50% each. Ahmed sells his share to Ibrahim. Zayd offers to buy it from him but requests only a quarter of his 50%. This is not allowed. He must take it all or leave it. He must take it all or leave it. Naam.
Let's say he has two offers or three offers for the same price, same amount. Does the partner have the right to pick who will be his next partner?
Shuf, and your question is, if Adib, my partner, he's considering selling it to one of three people. Yeah, he has three offers on the table. Do I have a haqq or a right to tell him which one? No, the shuf'a is not about that. Shuf'a is the right for me to purchase from one of those three after they buy it. A shuf'a is the right to purchase from one of those three after he sells it to one of them. Okay? Whoever he sells it to does, if I want the shuf'a, it doesn't matter who he picks. And you're saying, do I have a right? And what he was saying to you is that if it's sold and I give up my shuf'a, it's not my business. I've given up my right. So either you buy it or khalas. You let him do what he wants to do. It's going to be like some kind of final sale. Tamam?
Actually, before you sell your land, they still consider the neighbor as a partner. Before you sell the land, you should ask the neighbor if you want to buy it or not. And then you can put the land out for sale.
You're asking a question or you're saying?
No, just I'm saying, like in Libya, this is what they
do. In Libya, you're saying they what? The neighbor asks his neighbor before he sells?
Yeah, before he sells, he says like, I'm planning to sell this land with this price. Do you want to take it or not? If he said no, then he just go.
Yeah, and they'll be acting on the hadith that we mentioned, hadith Abu Rafi', al-jaru ahaqqu bisaqabihi, right? This is and that's what Abu Hanifa rahimahullah was, I think his argument was that this is clear that it's talking about al-jar. The Hanabi and the others, they said no, it's not just it's the jar that co-owns with you. They did the takhsis there because they saw a ta'arud, right? And one of the ways of going or finding agreement between two hadith that seem to be opposing is to try to takhsis. They say this is mukhassas, right? This is it's specifying something else. Tamam? طيب. جميل. And then we said نعم. فإن أراد أخذ البعض أو عجز عن بعض الثمن بعد إنظاره ثلاثا أو قال المشتري بعني أو صالحني أو أخبره عدل فكذبه ونحوه سقطت. This is going to tell you about what invalidates the shuf'a. Okay? So number one, what invalidates the shuf'a, okay, the preemption. فَإِنْ أَرَادَ أَخْذُ الْبَعْضِ If you wanted some of it, we said, already talked about it, we said if you want some of it only, then that it's not going to be valid. أو عجز عن بعض الثمن بعد إنظاره ثلاثا. Okay? Or he's not able to give the money after he's been warned after 3 days. Right? Because it's not fair for Adib if I say, I want haqq al-shuf'a, okay? And I say, I'm going to buy the land. Don't give it to your brother. Or I'm going to get it back from your brother. Adib needs the money, right? That's the whole reason why he sold. And then I say, okay, but I need a payment plan for like 6 months. Okay? If Adib says, no, that was not my plan. If he gives it to his brother, then yeah, I have the right to get the same payment plan. But if he wanted it right away, right, I can't be like, I have 3 days basically. 3 days, bring the cash or you lose your right of shuf'a. أو قال لمشتر بعني أو صالحني. Here they're talking about, it doesn't work that you go to, I go to Adib's brother. Like I don't go to the person who bought it. I'm supposed to go to Adib. So they're saying if I go to his, to the one who just bought the share, then تبطل. Or I say صالحني, like let's make a deal together. Okay? They say هذا يبطل. هذا يبطل. Yeah, he says فقول الشفيع للمشتري. If I went to Adib's brother and I said to him بعني أو صالحني, or make a deal with me, يدل على رضاه بالبيع. They said this means that he's okay with the sale. So then I lose the right of shuf'a. Now, can he sell it to me? Yes, as a sale if he wants to. Like, Adib's brother. Does that make sense? But as a right of shuf'a, because shuf'a is something that's enforced by the qadi. Right? Shuf'a is something that is enforced by the qadi. But he's saying here, if I go to his brother and I say bi'ni aw salihni yadullu ala ridahu bil bay', that means that I was okay, content with the sale. So then I lose. Okay? الذي عقده شريكه وأنه إنما يستشير المشتري في البيع أو الصلح ولذلك سقطت شفعته. Yeah, so they're saying here, I was okay with the sale, so then I don't have a right now to force him to sell it back to me. Because this could be a hila as well, right? I might be trying to, I'll lie to him. Maybe he doesn't know he didn't study shuf'a with us. So I'll be like, listen, I have the right, this is the hadith, okay, but you need to give it to me for this price, مثلا, or sell it to me for this price, right? That's not something that you can do. If you want your shuf'a, you go straight to your partner and you tell him that, and then he will cancel the sale. Remember, we have the rights for a return, and then basically, and if that doesn't happen, I go to the qadi. I go to the qadi and tell him, listen, I was his partner. I have the right of shuf'a. I'm willing to pay the exact same amount within the right time, and then so I should be able to get it. And then he says here, أو أخبره عدل فكذبه. If a trustworthy person, someone who's known to tell the truth, like if someone came and told me, hey man, your partner Adib, he just sold his portion, and I'm like, oh no man, you're full of it. It's not true. Okay, and then it ended up being true. Then I don't have a right now, because now I denied a trustworthy person who told me this. Tamam? You might say, well, how come he didn't know? I don't know. Maybe there's somehow he didn't know. Okay, maybe I live in another land. Okay, and it happened, and somebody called me on the phone, like, listen, man, your partner just sold his land. I'm like, oh, that's not true. And I ignored his warning, even though he's a trustworthy person. Then after 2 years, I'm like, oh, I want to go get the land back because now the prices went up, mashallah. Okay? No, you can't do that. Tamam? Does that make sense? أو أخبره عدل, a trustworthy person, فكذبه, and he didn't believe him. ونحوه سقط. Okay, so let's read those. So the following invalidates and drops the right of preemption. Number one, the one seeking preemption wants part of the share and not all of it. We said that you have to take all of it. Take it all or nothing. The one seeking preemption, shuf'a, is unable to pay all of it after 3 days. Okay, so I want to go get it, but I can't give him all the money after 3 days. Then I don't have the right. Unless he gives me muhla, okay, any time. Ahmed and Zayd are partners in a business or land. Zayd wants to sell his portion and Ahmed requests to buy him out. Ahmed agrees to pay half now and the rest in 3 days. If he does not pay within that time, then Ahmed will lose his right of preemption. Tamam? So I could give him, but I have 3 days. This is your time to get your money. If the one seeking preemption, right, me, goes to the new buyer to buy it from him directly, then also that's invalid. So for example, Ahmed and Zayd own a business together. Zayd wants to sell his portion of the shares, but Ahmed does not show any interest nor request right of preemption. I'm like, okay, I don't care. Zayd then sells it to Bilal, but now Ahmed goes to Bilal and seeks right of preemption to buy it from him. Because he claims that he has more right to it due to the law of preemption, this is not allowed. We said, if I let it happen, and I knowingly let it happen, then that means I was okay with it. So now khalas, I lose my shuf'a. Because the whole part of shuf'a is that you are not okay with it. Right? You are not okay. You want to have that right. But if you let it happen, you knowingly, you said, okay, sure, let it go ahead. But then I come back after to him, be like, listen, I have a right. No, you're not allowed to do that. Tamam. Unless you are unaware, there is no way for you to find out. For if a just person, إذا أخبره عدل, if a just person informed someone that his business partner had sold his shares to someone else, but he did not believe him, then this will cause the right of preemption to be dropped from the unbelieving partner. And I said, no, that's not true. I don't believe you. Okay, and then later, after a year or two, I say, I have a right for shuf'a, then that will not be valid. But what if he's not adil? If he's known to be a liar, then that's different. Like if somebody calls me and it's known this guy is a liar, he's just a fattan, supposed to make fitna, okay? Then the shuf'a remains. That's why he says here, if the informer, the one who called me, mathalan, is not a just person, then the right of preemption still remains. Okay? Then the right of preemption will still remain. طيب. What's next? Then he says, فإن عفا بعضهم أخذ بقيهم الكل أو تركه. Now he's saying if there's multiple partners, if there's 3-4 partners, tamam, and they want to sell, okay, so فإن عفا بعضهم أخذ باقيهم الكل أو تركه. He has to take all of them. Let me give you an example. So here, Ahmad, Zayd, and Muhammad own a piece of land. So you have Ahmad, Zayd, and Muhammad. Okay, then each own a third, right? Okay, type. If Zayd decides to sell his share of the land, and since Ahmad and Muhammad have more right to it, he offers it to them first by splitting his portion half between each. Muhammad decides that he's not interested. Okay, however, Ahmad does want to purchase it, but only half of it. This is not allowed. He must either take all of it or leave it. Does that make sense? He either takes the whole share that's offered or none. It's similar to what we said before. You have to take all of it or none of it. فإن عفا بعضهم أخذ بقيهم الكل أو تركه. He has to take all of it or تركه. وإن مات شفيع قبل طلب بطلت. Okay, so if the shafi' dies, okay, before it actually takes place, وإن مات شفيع, okay, I'm the shafi', right? So قبل طلب بطلت. Okay, so if the sale takes place, okay, and I die before I have the right to ask, my inheritors can come. Okay, my inheritors can come after and be like, oh, we want the right of shafa'ah, because khalas, I passed away, and that haqq was only for the original owner. Does that make sense? So it says here, if a partner requests to purchase the shares through right of preemption from the selling partner, however, the former dies before obtaining them, then it will go to his inheritors. So, for example, Ahmed and Zayd own a business together. Zayd wants to sell his share of the business, and Ahmed requests to buy it through the right of shuf'a. But he dies, right? Ahmed dies, okay, before the sale goes through. In this case, Ahmed's inheritors have the right to buy the share from Zayd before others. He has the right to buy the share from Zayd before others. So it says here, وَإِن مَاتَ شَفِيعٌ قَبْلَ طَلَبٍ بَطَلَتْ. إن مات الشفيع قبل طلب الشفيع قبل طلب الشفعة بطلت. I want to make sure I'm getting this right. إن مات الشفيع قبل طلب الشفعة بطلت فلا يورث حق الطلب بالشفعة. نعم. أما لو مات بعد طلبها نعم. If he died after asking it, then the inheritors have the right. Okay, yeah. So if the sale happens, and I ask for it, and then I pass away, then yes, they have the right. Yeah, the inheritors have the right. But if it happens and I never ask for it, then the inheritors can't come after. You see the difference here? If Adib sells it to his brother, okay? If he sells it to his brother, we're partners. Me and Adib are partners, okay? And I ask for it, and then it's like while we're doing the thing, the actual high, maybe I paid him half, and okay, and then I pass away, the shafi', okay, the original partner, then my inheritors have the right to finish it and actually get the shufa. But if the sale takes place, I never ask for it, the inheritors can't come after and be like, we have the right to shufa. No, khalas. The original right goes to the original owner, not to the inheritors. Just wanted to make sure I get that right. طيب. وإن كان الثمن مؤجلا أخذ مليء به. If the payment was مؤجل أخذ مليء به. So if this is what we said before, if he sells it to his brother on a payment plan, okay, مؤجل, okay, then as long as I'm a mali, someone who has money, okay, not someone who's broke. As long as I'm a mali, remember the word mali, someone who's like financially able, then I'm allowed to get the same deal as him. So if he gave it to him on a 1-year plan, okay, payment plan, then I have the right to shufa on that same payment plan. But what if I'm not a mali? Can I still get it? You can if you have a kafil. Remember we talked about the guarantor, right? Someone who guarantees, someone or damin, right? وَغَيْرُهُ بِكَفِيلٍ مَلِيءٍ. So I can bring a kafil, a guarantor, and he has to be mali. Of course, I can't bring another broke person, okay, to guarantee the payments. I have to bring someone who's also mali. وَلَوْ أَقَرَّ بَائِعٌ بِالْبَيْعِ وَأَنْكَرَ مُشْتَرٍ ثَبَتَتْ. This is interesting. وَلَوْ أَقَرَّ بَائِعٌ. So he's the ba'i'. We're partners. Adib is the ba'i'. He's the seller. If he says, I sold it, okay, it's true, I did sell it, and then I go to, he sold it to his brother. I go to his brother, and he says, no, that's not true. Okay? If he says it's not true, okay, it says, وَأَنْكَرَ مُشْتَرٍ, he's the mushtari, his brother, ثَبَتَتْ, then I still get the deal. Then I still get the shuf'a. I still get the shuf'a. أي ثبتت الشفعة بما قال البائع. So why? Because the ba'i' is the one who said, I sold it. Okay? Because this could be a hila, right? This could be like any pre-planned between them, right? He sold it, and then his brother's like, no, he never sold it. Okay, so why would they might have some kind of, maybe he's lying, so I don't have the shufa, right? But if the ba'i' said he sold it, he sold it. Okay, and if he actually says he sold it, then obviously he sold it. Otherwise, obviously we'll find out that he's lying, and then I can't get the shufa. If he's like, oh no, I was just lying. But if he says I sold it, he's the owner of it, he says I sold it, then I can still get the shufa, right? I'll get it straight from him. I'll be like, khalas, because the other guy is denying, right? Whether he's telling the truth or not, I'm gonna get my shufa. Tamam? Let me just read this and then we'll answer questions. So, if a person wants to buy his selling partner's shares on credit, then he can do so provided he's financially stable. Yeah, if he gives him some kind of payment plan, then I should get the same. If the person is not financially stable, he's not mali', then he must bring a guarantor that is financially stable, right? He has to bring a kafil that is mali' to back him up. This means the guarantor will not cover the cost in case the person is unable to pay. If the person does not bring a guarantor, then he can only buy the shares if selling partner agrees. Yeah, if he agrees, yeah, like we said that before. But if he doesn't want to, he wants to sell all of the shares, then he must. Then he doesn't have the right of shuf'a. Then the second point we mentioned here, وَلَوْ أَقَرَّ بَائِعٌ. If the selling partner acknowledges selling, if Adib acknowledges his portion to an outsider, right? Let's say we said to his brother, مثلا, but the latter denies, the one who bought denies, then this secures the right to preemption for the remaining partner if he chooses to buy it from him. Assuming that he did actually sell it and he's telling the truth. If both of them are lying, then there's no shufa here, obviously. Wallahu a'lam. If the selling partner claimed that the outsider has already given him the money, then that money will be considered a security under him to give back to the outsider whenever he requests it back from him. Any questions about shufa? Tfaddal.
We have the options, like the 8 options, 7 options, khiyar al-majlis,
Does khiyar al-majlis takes place in all of them. So if this is something that happened in the majlis, yeah, you should be able to have the khiyar. Because the khiyar was the option of return, right? The option of return. So khiyar al-majlis, if it's happening in a majlis and we're still sitting and I'm like, you know what? No, khalas. Take it back. Or your brother can keep it. I don't want to do shufa. Okay.
For example, the Robin, you are already a partner.
and then you find some aib in it,
You should know everything about the business.
you should, yeah.
Then you say, okay, there's a huban and I want to return. Like,
But the ghuban is tricky here because the ghuban, because he's not selling you something that he owned. It's something that's shared between you. So if there's a aib, it was a aib between both of you. So you can't. It's hard to claim that. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's a musha'. It's something that's, and so you own all the land together. So it's not like if he secretly caused some damage to the land and he wants to sell it, then if you can prove that, yeah, sure, no problem. I see what you mean. But if it's something that's, it got damaged by itself, or there's an aib by itself, you both share the risk in that one. But if he's the one that caused it, that's something different. مثلا, he did something, I don't know, he spilled some oil or something in your land, okay, through a well that he owns from next door or something, right? And then he's like, oh my God, this is going to be worth nothing. I'm going to get lawsuits. Let me sell it, and then he's going to be fooled in getting the shuf'ah, right? And then, yeah, that would be a cause to return. Yeah.
if we go back to the question that I had about the three partners thing,
Mm-hmm.
this person will, like, he only needs money. And now there are three options, three people. One of them is the best, one of them is average, one of them is really bad.
Mm-hmm.
His decision will affect the person that's staying in the business or in the land or whatever the thing is,
The original partner.
the original partner. So let's say he makes a bad decision. What can the first person do?
So if the partner wants to sell and he has options, really good buyer, average buyer, really bad buyer.
Same money, he will get the same thing, but you will get a good person, bad person.
Yeah, so do you have the right to choose? I don't think so.
What can you do then?
Your right is to buy it. Either you buy it or you accept al-qadar. You accept whatever is written for you. The bad partner or the medium partner. This is where you have the right to protect yourself, to go buy it. But at the same time, we cannot.
If you cannot,
Yeah, we're expecting he's going to choose what's best for the partner. Yeah, we're going to assume that he's going to choose best partner for him, but we cannot control everything. So you don't have the right to tell him who sell it to the Pakistani instead of the Indian. Sell it. You can't do that. This is not your haqq. This is his haqq, because it's the maslahah is for him. You can suggest for him. Be like, listen, that guy has bad credit. That guy is this. That guy is that. Don't sell to Libyans. I'm just kidding. Don't sell. You can recommend without doing riba or making fun of people. But yeah, تفضل.
Is there an expiration time for like can you come after 5 years that without there is a sale or something like this? Can be complicated. The reason I'm asking,
If you know it's happening and you don't want to buy it on the spot, خلاص, you lose the shufa.
I didn't know. So
Yeah, if you didn't know, then yeah, you can go to the qadi and say, listen, it's hard for that to happen unless you're like absent or something like that. It can happen, yeah, I guess. I think these days the partner always is told somehow through the legal system. But if in some case there's he's not told, he doesn't find out, then he has a haqq to go back for it. That's his haqq. But if he knew, and he said no, I don't want, خلاص, because that's proof of rida of that he is okay with the sale. تمام.
two sales happen, one of them they cannot have shafa'a for the other one because of this sales.
It will affect, it will affect, But if he finds out later, he has the right now, because this is his haqq. This is haqq. طيب, our next chapter is al-wadi'a. Al-wadi'a, okay? طبعا al-wadi'a is basically something that you entrust with somebody else, okay? It's an amana basically, okay? So مثلا I'm going to go travel, I don't know, I'm going to travel overseas and I have some gold and I don't want to leave it in my house, and so I entrust you. I put it with you as a wadi'ah, so that you're an ameen, okay? You're someone that protects it, and then you give it to me when I come back without compensation. This is not ujra, it's not ijara. This is something that's done without any iwad, okay? So he says here, لغة من ودع الشيء إذا تركه من ودع الشيء إذا تركه لتركها عند المودع. وشرعا المال المدفوع إلى من يحفظه بغير عوض. المال المدفوع doesn't necessarily mean money. It could be anything, some kind of property or some kind of asset, okay, that I give to somebody else without any compensation, okay. And طبعا there's ijma' on this, يعني something that is valid to do. And Allah, they take يعني one of the verses in Surah An-Nisa, إن الله يأمركم أن تؤدوا الأمانات إلى أهلها, that you return the amanat back to its people, okay. And then the hadith, أدي الأمانة إلى من ائتمنك ولا تخن من خانك. Yeah, give back the amana to the person who trusted you with it. ولا تخن من خانك. If someone deceives you, don't go back and deceive them. ولا تخن من خانك. This is another hadith that is used for this bab. So he says here, ويسن. So the first hukum that is mentioned here, that it's sunnah. ويسن قبول وديعة لمن يعلم من نفسه الأمانة. What's it talking about? This is talking about the hukum of accepting a wadi'ah. So if let's use some. If Ja'far wants to leave some gold with me, it is and he asks me, can I put this as a wadi'ah with you? It's sunnah for me to accept, with the condition, okay, ويسن قبول وديعة, يعني it's an act of worship, it's a sunnah, you get rewarded for it, okay. وديعة لمن يعلم من نفسه الأمانة. It's sunnah for the person who knows that he's trustworthy. He's someone who, he's not someone careless, leaves the door open all day, or he's like living in some ghetto neighborhood and his house gets robbed every second week. But as long as you know that you're someone that's entrusted, then it's a sunnah for you to take it. ويلزم حفظها في حرز مثلها. Okay, so what he's saying? He's saying here, al-hirz, we said, is the place where you hide something. So ويلزم, it's wajib, it's obligatory, حفظها, to keep it in a place where it's usually kept. So Ja'far keeps his what are you going to give me? Gold? So Ja'far keeps his gold in a safe, right? He doesn't put it in the fridge. So he keeps it in a safe, and then he puts it with me. Al-asl is that I keep it in a safe, okay? I don't go put it in the fridge or put it with the toys with the kids, right? Or I put it outside in the shed with, That's what he's saying here. ويلزم حفظها في حرز مثلها وإن عينه ربها فأحرز بدونه أو تعدى أو فرط أو قطع علف دابة عنها بغير قول ضمن. He's gonna guarantee. When is he guarantee? Like, when do I have to guarantee his gold? This is the places. Okay, let's read first. Let's read. So the trust, the wadi'ah is a trust. So when someone is authorized to safeguard another's wealth, that someone is called a wakil, tamam, and the protected wealth is called a trust. The wakil must be obviously pubescent, sane, and mature. Okay, and then it is recommended to accept holding onto someone's property as a trust. We said, with the condition, this is for the one who knows that he's capable of fulfilling the trust. If not, then he cannot take it as a trust. Okay. Once accepted, it is obligatory to preserve it in a safe place of its types. طبعا, we mentioned that he has to be someone who's baligh, aqil, someone who is mature. Why? Because if Ja'far leaves it with some 10-year-old, does he have a right to? And then the 10-year-old loses it. Does he have a right to ask for it back? No, because he made the mistake of giving it to someone who's not responsible. But it's Ja'far's responsibility to make sure that I'm putting the trust with a trustworthy person and someone who's mature. Tamam. Once accepted, it's obligatory to preserve it in a safe place of its types. Example, if it's jewelry, then it's usually kept in a chest, hidden somewhere, and not displayed out in the open. Like we said, if I'm keeping his gold, I can't go put it in the fridge. I can't go put it in the shed outside. Tamam. But if the owner of the property specified a particular location for the trust to be held, but the wakil did not abide by it, then he will be responsible to compensate for it if something happened to it. So if Ja'far says, can you hold my gold? I say, yeah, sure, no problem. He said, but you need to keep it in a safe, okay, that's made out of steel, not your piggy bank or some plastic, okay? And I'm like, okay, sure. But then what ends up happening, I leave it on the counter and it gets stolen. Who's gonna guarantee? Me, okay? Because أنا هنا فرطت. I was negligent, okay, of it, okay? Example, yeah, or if I'm exceeding the limit, okay? مثلا يعني فرطت يعني or عفوا تعدي. This is تعدي. He says here, yeah, أو تعدى. مثلا here for تعدي he says someone gives Ahmed 1,000 to hold on to and he agrees but then starts loaning it to others and ends up losing some of it. تمام? This is تعدي. You didn't have a right to do that. Okay? Then I guarantee it. طبعا if I lend it out to people and I get it back, okay, I might be sinful, but خلاص, then the money's back, I give it back to him, no problem. تمام? But then in amana, it's not. This is not a bank. A wadi'a is not a bank. This is the controversial discussion about modern day banks. Like, is it a dain or is it a wadi'a? Do you understand the difference? If it's a dain, if you're gonna say it's a wadi'a, the hukum is different. If we say, because wadi'a you have to guarantee it. Okay. If the money you put in your bank right now, all of you have debit cards, right? And in the debit cards there's money in the bank. But is this a wadi'a or is this a dain? If it's a wadi'a, they're not supposed to be able to do their fraction. What is it called? Their fractional reserve, right? They're not allowed to be loaning it out, which they are right now. Your money is being loaned out to somebody else. In case you didn't know. So the money that you have in the bank, it's not really there. Maybe 30% of it is there, 20% of it is there, okay? And so the bank is lending it out to other people and getting money. If it's a wadi'a, it's not allowed.
They only guarantee specific amount.
I understand, but I'm saying, so what is it if it's not a wadi'a? Huh? Yeah.
The bank your money, and they have to do it. But in the Arabic banks, like in Iraq, they call it ida.
Ida'wa?
Ida means deposit.
نعم.
So when I deposit money, like ida, which is wadi'a. I'm not sure. Does that mean they call it wadi'a, but because they use the terminology ida?
Yeah, interesting. Ajib. I'm not sure. Allah. But what I'm saying, it's how did we get to this? What were we talking about? Yeah, we said أو تعدى. Yeah, تعدى. Like you cannot go loan it out to people and then you don't get it back. It's not your haqq. He did not. But aslan, this is how banks started, by the way. What started happening is like, people were holding people's gold, and they're like, you know what, right? Why don't I make money from this, right? So they started doing that, and then they said, you know what? Why don't I actually loan it out and make more money out of it? So they would charge for like holding the money. And they would also charge for, they would also lend it out. But they would keep some in case the original owner comes back and says, I want. This is how banks, if you read about banks, this is how they started. This is how the modern day banks started, right? And I had some gold, because back in the day we used gold, right? So I had gold, and then, I'm like, can you hold it for me? You're like, yeah, sure. After all, you're like, man, خلاص, I don't want to just hold it for you. I'm going to charge you for the amount of days I hold it for you. Okay. And then I'm like, you know what? All this gold is sitting here. It's a waste of money, right? Why don't I invest? Why don't I lend it out to other people for more money? فخلاص, then started. Then they're like, okay, we don't have enough gold. Let's turn the gold into paper money so we can actually make more money. So now we have this crazy world of infinite money that doesn't really exist. Musibah, something bad's gonna happen. طيب, so أو تعدى, we said if he exceeds the limit, أو فرط, he's negligent. Being negligent is something like what? Like I didn't put it in the right place. I didn't lock the high. I'm supposed to be holding his car, but I left the car outside with the keys on top. Okay, this is tafrit, right? This is negligence. So I will be responsible. I will idman for that. أو قطع علف دابة عنها بغير قول. He gives example here like, or I'm holding his donkey مثلا or his camel, and then I stop feeding it without any permission from him. يعني it's not like he told me don't feed it, I don't want it to be fat. Okay, I just stop feeding it, and that's part of holding it, right? Then I'll also be guaranteeing, right? Being neglectful, it's saying here, leaving an entrusted car's doors unlocked so it gets stolen, for example, or not feeding or watering an entrusted animal that causes it to die. But what if I'm holding your camel and then just drops dead without any problem for me? Do I guarantee? No. The Ameen is not a guarantor, okay? The Ameen only guarantees if he, like we said, he doesn't do his due diligence, he exceeds the limit, farrata أو تعدى, right? Or he puts it in a place that was not agreed upon. طيب ويقبل قول مودع في ردها إلى ربها ويقبل. So now it's all about the whole disagreements. Remember the whole qawl. So if you have disagreement and there's no proof, who do we take? We take the qawl of the Ameen. So ويقبل قول مودع في ردها. Okay, so if Ja'far gives me the gold, I hold it, okay, and then I give it to him, or whatever, we disagree. No, you never gave it to me, I give it to you. No, you didn't give it. Who's the judge gonna, whose word is the judge gonna take if there's no proof? He's gonna take my word, the Ameen. Because it's really dhulm on me if he's actually lying. Right? Because if he's actually lying, what's gonna happen? And I did a favor for him, he got the gold back, and now I owe him the same amount again. فالأصل الأمين is trusted. If there's no proof, we're gonna take the whose word? The word of the Ameen, the person who is entrusted. You trusted me, okay? So if there's no proof, right? If there is proof, obviously, then we'll use the proof. So ويقبل قول مودع, okay, the Ameen, okay, في ردها, in returning it إلى ربها, يعني to its owner, okay? أو غيره بإذنه. مثلا if Ja'far said, okay, Hamza, just return it to Afzal, okay? And this was something agreed with us. And then he comes back, he's like, where's the gold? I'm like, I gave it to Afzal. He's like, no, you never. No, it's also my word, okay? Because here he has no proof. If he has no proof. لا وارثه. They say not to an inheritor, okay? وفي تلفها وعدم تفريط وتعد وفي الإذن. Okay, so also in the telef, in losing it, okay, if it's lost, okay, or I claim that I didn't, let's say something happened, the camel I have with me, okay, or let's say the gold, let's say with the gold, nobody has camels. If the gold, I did my part, okay, and then somehow somebody bulged in and took the safe with the gold. Somehow, I don't know, some major robbery. And I say, I did my job, I did it in the high. And there's no proof that I didn't do my job. Who are we going to take? We're going to take my word. The judge will take my word. Because I did my job. I did my job. But if he has proof that I didn't do my job, then I will be responsible for that. وفي الإذن as well. Yeah, if I claim to the judge, oh, he gave me permission to give it to Afzal, and he's like, no, I never. Again, he will take my opinion. Okay, let's quickly read this. I know, Ja'far, I know you want your gold. Just 1 second, let me read this. In case of disagreement, the statement of the wakil is accepted and given preference in the following cases. If the wakil says that he returned the trust back to the owner or to another with the owner's permission. Tamam? The same rule applies if Zayd told him that he gave it to Muhammad because Ahmad had told him to do so. Right? The same thing. However, if the owner of the wealth dies and his inheritors come to the wakil to obtain the trust. Listen to this. This is what he said, la warith. If the owner of the wealth, okay, مثلا Ja'far dies and his inheritors, may Allah give you long life, and his inheritors come to the wakil to obtain trust, and he claims to have already given it to them after his death, then in this case the inheritors will be believed because they are not the ones who trusted him with the wealth. Okay, this is their haqq. So here the mu'allif is saying that if it's the inheritors that come, then the qadi might take their qawl. Can you see why? the ta'lil here, they're saying he's not the person, the inheritors are not the ones who gave it. How do they know that this guy is trustworthy? And how do they know? It says here that the judge, طبعا if there's proof, then there's no need for that. There's no need for that. And then if there is a dispute as to who damaged it, then the wakil will be believed, right? The one who has the amana, okay? If there is dispute who damaged it, we mentioned that. And absence of any excessiveness or neglect. Yeah, if something happened to it and I say, I did my job, I never, مثلا, overused your car, or I never left it there without locking it, and there's no proof, then my word is taken. Because the whole thing is that if there's no proof, you trusted me. And the qadi can only go with the one that was trusted. You trusted him, so you have to bear that responsibility. Tamam? Because I'm not a damin. Remember, I'm not a guarantor. I'm just an amin. I'm a person that you put something with me. It says here, وَإِنْ أَوْدَعَ إِثْنَانِ مَكِيلًا أَوْ مَوْزُونًا يقسم فطلب أحدهما نصيبه لغيبة شريك أو امتناعه سلم إليه. He's saying here, if two people who are partners leave something, like let's say, Ja'far and Azhar مثلا leaves something that's shared with, like, let's say 10 kilos of gold. That's a lot of gold. And they're 50-50, 5 kilos. And it's with me. I'm the person who's the muda, the amin. And then Azhar comes and is like, can I have my 5 kilos? He says, you can give it to him. ما في مشكلة. And it's not like you have to give it back to them at the same time, right? وإن أودع اثنان مكيلا أو موزونا, something that is weight or volume, يقسم فطلب أحدهما, or it's like مثلا a bag of rice or something, or a bag of like diamonds, or I don't know, like something that can be separated with weight and volume. فطلب أحدهما نصيبه لغيبة شريكه. Okay, they're partners, but not both partners are here. Okay, سلم إليه, then he has the right to give it back. So if two partners entrust something measured or weighed to a wakil to keep as a trust, and then one of them goes to him later alone to request his portion back, then he will be given it. Meaning, as long as the trust is a type of property that can be divided, it will be separated and handed over. Tamam? There's an example there. The following have the right to take back the unjustly seized. This is the mu'allif mentions this. It has to do with ghasb, but he entered it here because we just talked about the wakil, the one who. So he says here, وَلِمُودَعٍ. The muda' is the one who holds the property, right? The amin. وَمُضَارِب. Remember the mudarabah when we did partnerships? The mudarib is the one who what? You give me money for me to work and we're partners. Okay, that's the mudarabah. We talked about the mudarabah partnership. Okay, so someone who's entrusted, the mudarab, the money belongs to who? The person who has the capital, he gave it to the mudarab to work with it. Is he the owner, the mudarab? He's not the owner. The whole point here is telling you that even those who are not owners can actually go and claim the money if it's maghsub. We talked about al-ghasab before, right? Al-ghasab is what? Unlawfully taking somebody else's wealth. Unjustly, like forcefully taking somebody else's wealth. Now, technically, the only one who can claim the ghasab is who? The owner, the malik. But he's saying in these situations, the muda', me, I have the right. So I have the right, if somebody comes and grabs Ja'far's gold in front of me, I have the right to claim ghasab to the qadi. I have the right. Maybe he's somewhere else, okay? And the mudarab, the one who's working with somebody else's money, I have the right like the owner. Maybe the owner is not here. I have the right to claim ghasab as well. وَمُرْتَهِن. Someone who, remember we talked about collateral, rahan, right? So I leave my car as collateral with you. Who's the owner? I am. But you can actually go claim, okay, al-ghasab, because you're entrusted now with that rahan. Okay, even though you're not the malik, because we said the malik is the only one who can claim the ghasab, right? أو مستأجر, right? The musta'jir, someone who has it for rent, مثلا, he also has the right to call. So in غصبت العين المطالبة بها. These four, they have the right to ask for the money back or for the property back if it was maghsub, right? If it was taken or seized unjustly or unlawfully. So we say the following have the right to take back the unjustly seized property on behalf of the owner. Okay, so the one who's entrusted with his wealth, the one we're talking about right now, the one who's given wealth to purchase something on the owner's behalf, the mudarab, the pledgee, or the one who the one who put a rahan, the collateral, right? The one who receives a rahan, the one who received the rahan, right? The one who received the rahan is not the owner, but he's holding the collateral until he's paid his original money, right? And the renter, he has the right to, all of these four cases, they have the right to actually go to the judge and claim ghasab if they saw it, because they're technically entrusted with the property, right? Even though they're not the owners. Does that make sense? This is what he wanted to mention in this bab. I was gonna go through Ihya al-Mawat, but we don't have time for that. Inshallah, we'll do it next week. It's a very short chapter. Ihya al-Mawat basically is if there's a dead land, okay, can you go claim it? The answer is yes, you can go claim it with some conditions, okay? And how do you claim it? He mentions how. Mathalan, you put let's say there's a land, and you go and you're like, nobody owns it. It's not being used. It's not property of the city, right? It's not like a road or something like that. And you want to bring it back to life. You're going to water it. You're going to put a well. You're going to put some trees. Then that will actually be a way for you to own that land. This is a way for you to own that land. We'll talk about this a little, very short, inshallah. We'll go through it next week. And we'll talk about al-ju'ala, paying someone for a task. And then we have al-luqata and al-hiba, and we're pretty much will be done bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And al-waqf, al-waqf as well. Any questions before we pray Isha? Tfaddal, Ja'far, your question, yes. Say it one more time. Fees.
Yeah.
Okay.
I asked you to keep my gold with you, and you charge me a small amount of fee for keeping it. And you meet all the conditions, like you keep it in the safe.
This is not wadi'a. No. This would not be wadi'a. If I'm telling you to hold it for a price, this is not wadi'a. What's this? Yeah, this is like I'm paying you for a service, right? So this is ijara, right? I'm paying you to hold it, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm paying you to hold it. It's like a storage, or you're someone who's yeah. Naam.
What if there are two trusted people and both of them lie? Let's say I give the gold to person number one, and I ask him, when person number two comes to this city, please give it to him, he will hold it for me. Then person number one says, I gave it to him. Person number two says, he didn't give it to me. In this case,
if there's two trustees, okay? So Ja'far put his gold with me and Afzal, مثلا.
And I trust both of them.
Okay.
And then one of them says, I gave the wadi'a to person number two, but person number two says he didn't give it to me.
So one of the trustees says he gave it to the other.
Yeah, and there is no proof. So how are we approaching this?
And there's no proof. What do you guys think? So the trustees.
The last one would be the.
No, but stand. Wait a second. He was not supposed to give it to the other trustee.
No, he was asked to give it to him.
Oh, he was asked. So the original owner said, give it to the other trustee.
Keep it for a week, then give it to the next person.
Keep it for a week and give it to the next person.
The trustees, right? Because the transaction happening from me to you, this is, you are trustee now.
Okay.
And you to him, he's the trustee now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he should be the trustee.
It's a corruption.
No, but we're saying whose qawl is the judge gonna take?
The first one. First one, because he trusted the first guy first.
No, we just in the second after.
Let's look at it quickly. So before Isha, so he left the gold with two people. No, he left it with one person. Okay. Then he said, I want you to give it to another person now.
When he comes to this city, let's say for whatever reason.
Yeah, so let's say the first trustee has to go, and then you say, listen, I have to go. Are you back? No, I have to stay another week. And then so he says, okay, put it with another trustee. Okay. Then I give it to the other trustee, or whatever happens. then when he comes back, the original owner, he asks the second person, where's the money? The second person says, I never got it. And the first person says, I gave it to him. You're saying, whose word do we take? Well, we're going to take, so they're both trusted, right? So we're going to take his word. Yeah, and the second person, we're going to take his word. He's the badil of the first person. Yeah, in the two-dimensional case, we said that we're going to take the word of the trustee. Sah? Agreed? Okay. Now, the original owner trusted the second person.
But trusted the first as well. But trusted the first as well.
The transaction went from that guy to this.
But he didn't trust him.
He didn't trust this guy. He trusted both of them. Yeah.
Musiba, it's difficult. Huh? No, I know it's corruption, but we're trying to see like what would the qadi do? Okay. If he takes the word of the second guy who said, I never got it, okay, the asl is what? What's the asl? I think that's the easiest way to know. What's the asl? What's for sure that happened? In this case, the gold got to the first person. That's guaranteed, agreed upon. What's the doubtful thing? Yeah, that's where you figure out whose word we take. Okay? So the asl is that it didn't get to the second person. That's the asl. That it didn't get to the second person. Okay? And so we have to believe the second person. Because we have certainty it got to the first one. Okay? But we have doubt that it got to the second one. So the qadi has to go with that. This is the same. If you understand this rule, you can apply it on all the buyu'. This is one of the hardest part in buyu'. Which word do you take without proof? But this is a nice qaida to know. Whatever is yaqeen, okay, is good. It's agreed upon. We're not gonna deal with that. Go with the shak. Okay, where the shak is, that's what the qadi has to. That's the opinion that the qadi has to go to. So yeah, I know he could be lying, but and he's gonna do it, and he's gonna take a yameen. He's gonna swear, right? And we know yameen al-ghamus is one of the major sins. Yeah, like it puts someone in the hellfire. It's a very serious thing. The qadi will tell him, and you take a yameen al-ghamus. Yani is basically when somebody مثلا steals something or does shahadat zur or something like that, false testimony, and he says, Wallahi, I didn't. This could put someone in the hellfire. It's like a major sin. It's a really serious offense. For that's why when we say with yameen, it's not a joke. Yani it's a very serious offense.
So if you bring evidence that the other guy, not in this situation, but he was lying in another situation.
Yeah, if you can bring proof that this person is not trustworthy, then maybe that's a bayyina that will help. Or maybe we know that this guy مثلا is someone who accused someone of zina, and we know that the one who accuses someone of zina is لا تقبل ولا تقبلوا لهم شهادة أبدا, right? The shahada is not accepted anymore. So if you can prove that مثلا, and other things that might take the shahada. والله تعالى أعلم. بارك الله فيكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.